Alright, y'all. So, before we start, I'm just gonna check and get some housekeeping out the way. Alright, so I want to make sure that I'm live. Alright, I think I'm live, so let me see. Alright. So, I don't think there's anyone here yet, but we're gonna start anyway and wait, see if there's anyone coming. So, for those of you that are watching this as a recording, welcome. If you're not subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button while you're at it. Also, oh, I lost my train of thought. Also, hit the notification bell so you're notified when any new videos drop and when I'm live streaming. Also, so today we're gonna be doing a Marvel MCU tier list right here. Just so you know, I'm only gonna be doing the movies because I haven't seen all the TV shows. I've seen Loki. I've seen Daredevil. I've seen Secret Invasion. And I think that's about it. I've seen some of X-Men 97 and What If, but I haven't watched all of it though. And Daredevil Born Again, something I gotta put on my list to watch. Also, I've seen Spider-Man. I've seen that Spider-Man and the Werewolf by Night. So I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy though. I haven't seen that the holiday special. I haven't seen that yet. So we're just gonna be doing the main MCU movies. And I also haven't seen Fantastic Four. That's another one I haven't seen. So I guess while we're at it, I'll put that in. I'll put that never watched yet. Alright. So except for that, we're gonna be going in order. Like I said before, I've seen all of these movies up to Fantastic Four. So without further ado, we're gonna start. After this, we're gonna probably react to this video right here. Villains the MCU is too scared to adapt correctly by Axon Cinema. So let's get started. First off with Iron Man. I'm gonna put Iron Man as an A tier. First movie that started the MCU, and it's a pretty great movie also. The Incredible Hulk. To be honest, it's not that memorable of a movie. So I remember the basic plot and stuff like that, but like in terms of like whether it's still being talked about, it's not. So I'm gonna put Hulk maybe in B. I'll put Hulk in B. Iron Man 2. It's been a minute since I've seen that. Uh, hmm. I'm gonna put Iron Man 2 in B also. Let me see that. Thor. Hmm. Those of you that are watching this, be sure to put down in the comments where you think any of these movies should go. Thor. Let me think. I might put that one in B also. Captain America. I might just get Captain America for now. Let me see. Avengers. I'll put that S. Let me see, Iron Man 3. Like I said before, it's been a minute since I've seen any of these movies. So, but I do remember the basic plot of that one. Uh, I'm gonna put Captain America. I'll put that at A. I'll put Captain America at A. Iron Man 3. Let me think. I'm gonna put Iron Man. Again, it's like it's not really one of those movies you remember that much though. Like it didn't really leave that much of a mark on me, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm gonna put that at B also. Thor: The Dark World. Actually, let me do Winter Soldier first. In my opinion, Winter Soldier is an S tier movie. Like it's really got a great storyline, and then you have the introduction of the Winter Soldier into it also. Actually, I'll put that at A. I'll put that at A. Thor: The Dark World. Let me see something. Where'd it get around Tomatoes? See, 67%. $74%. Again, this is not one of those movies that didn't really have that much of an impact on me. Though the Dark World, I might put that. Let me think. I might have to put that at C. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it's not really a movie I will come back to watching, to be honest. Like, I think I've only seen it once. Much like these movies right here. I've only seen these once. Same with Captain America right there too, but that was pretty good though. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, that goes in A. You got Avengers: Age of Ultron, that was pretty good too. Uh, I'll put that. I'll probably put that at B also. I wouldn't say it's exactly A tier, to be honest. Ant-Man. Good movie. Uh, What do you guys think? Let me see. Is anyone here yet? No one's here. Why is this key coming up? Because I'm already live, so I'm not sure. Alright. So there's no one here yet. So, for Ant-Man, I might have to put that at B, to be honest. Basically, a lot of the mid movies, or a lot of the movies that, like, didn't have that much of an impact on me, I put in B. Anything below that is C and D. So, most of these movies might go here. Civil War has got to be my favorite Marvel movie, so that's going to be an S. It's also just a great movie, also. Doctor Strange wasn't a bad movie, so I'll put that. I'll put that at A. Volume 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Had a lot of great moments in the film. Also, probably my favorite moment is probably when the part with Yondu Remember when they had that whole bonding moment between Yondu and Rocket? I feel like that was a great part of the story. Of course, also Yondu bites the dust in this film also. Uh, I'll put that. I'll put Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in A also. Spider-Man Homecoming. This is probably my favorite Spider-Man movie also. So I might have to put this. I want to put it in S tier, but to be honest, like, I want to put it in S tier, but to be honest, it doesn't really seem right, so I might just put it in A. I might change it later on, though. Thor Ragnarok, that goes in A. Black Panther, that's S. Without question. Let me see. Avengers Infinity War, that's another S1. Ant-Man, the Wasp, I'll put that in B. Captain Marvel. Now, with Captain Marvel, when I first saw Captain Marvel, I thought it was pretty good, but a lot of people, from what I've known, for what I've heard online, it pissed a lot of people off. I think it's because they did Carol Danvers, like the whole strong female character thing. The Critical Drinker did a video on that. I might react to it later on stream. Maybe, I don't know, but I recently saw that. So, but to be honest, when I saw it, I liked it when I first saw it. So, I'm gonna put that in B also. Wait, hold on. There we go. Can I put things like in between? No, I can. It's either one or the other. Alright. Avengers Endgame, I'm gonna put in A. Spider-Man Far From Home. That wasn't a bad sequel, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put that in A also. Let me see. Next we have Black Widow. Again, I think that's a movie that a whole lot of people didn't really like, but when I saw it, I liked it the first time. So, let me think. I'm gonna have to put that one in B also, I'm not gonna lie. Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi was a great movie, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put that in A. What do I have for S tier right now? I have Avengers, Civil War, Black Panther, and Infinity War so far. Eternals. Now, other than like the Eternals didn't really do much for the MCU, except for having the Celestial pop up out of the ocean and setting up the plot for Captain America: Brave New World. Like, it didn't really do all that much. We haven't seen the Eternals back yet, and that end credits scene, like, there was Harry Styles and there was, like, I think Patton also voicing an elf or something like that, but we haven't heard anything about that yet, so I don't know what they're gonna do with that at all. So I might put this one at C also. Let me see. Spider-Man No Way Home. I'll put that. I heard there's a video saying that Spider-Man No Way Home gets worse every time you watch it. I'm gonna have to watch that video real quick on stream just to find out what that's about. But in case we're putting this, I want to put it at A, but to be honest, I'm getting kind of B vibes from this. So I'm gonna put Spider-Man No Way Home in A tier. Alright. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I'm putting that in B. It was okay. It was an okay movie. Thor Love and Thunder, I might put that at C. Not gonna lie. Werewolf by Night was a short film. I might as well do this one also because I've seen that one. That was pretty. Werewolf by Night was pretty good. So I'm gonna put that I'm a excuse me, sorry. I'm gonna put Werewolf by Night. I'll put that at B for now. Man, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. To be honest, to me it was a pretty good movie, so I'll put that at A. Again, it might change later on. Quantum Mania, I'm gonna put at C. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that was a pretty great movie. I'm gonna put that. Let me see. Hold on. I'll put that at S. To be honest. Alright. Next up, we got the Marvels. Yeah, that's going. I'm gonna have to put this at D. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to put that at D. Because, like, even though I have Thor the Dark World there, I think Thor the Dark World was a better movie than the Marvels, to be honest. And Eternals. I think Eternals is a better movie than that. So, Deadpool Wolverine, that's an A tier movie. Let me see. That's A. Brave New World, that's D also. Thunderbolts, Let me see. What do I have for S? I have Avengers, Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was pretty heavy, I'm not gonna lie. Let me think. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to put Thunderbolts in S tier. I'm not gonna lie. Even though I heard it flopped, I'm gonna put Thunderbolts in S tier. Well, let me think. Cause like the story was pretty unique, and I liked the way they leaned into like how everyone was like basic insecurities, and they play like with the dark, make sure not to let the darkness take over you and stuff like that. So let me think. Like, would I say Thunderbolts is as good as a movie as Infinity War, or like the same level as that? Because like Infinity War was different. Right? It was a different breed of superhero movies. So, let me think. I might put Thunderbolts at A. I might put Deadpool Wolverine at S, because like that is also a different kind of superhero movie, because like it brought back all those 20th century. It was funny, and it brought back all the 20th century Fox, like Blade and Elektra and all those guys. So again, it might change. I think that's it. That's it. But yeah, so I have seen, as I said before, I haven't seen all of these TV shows. I've seen Daredevil, Loki. I've seen some of What If, and I saw Ironheart, which was questionable, very questionable. If I was ranking Ironheart, I'd put it at D, easy. I'd put it at D, easy. So yeah, but let me see. Just go over this one more time. Let me think. Actually, let me think. Even though Deadpool Wolverine was a good movie, I'm not sure if it's quite S tier material though. To be honest, let me think. I'm gonna put Spider-Man Homecoming at S tier though. To me, it was just a perfect origin story for Spider-Man. Truly, and showed him like at his lowest point, and then showed him like rise above it. So even though like not at his lowest point, if you get what I mean though, but I think it's a great representation of Spider-Man though. It had great character development also. So I think that might be it. So be sure to tell me what you guys think of the tier list down in the comments below. I don't think there's anyone here yet. But as I say, if you guys are watching this watch the recorded version, be sure to let me know. Like if I got anything wrong, if I got anything right, be sure to tell me. I want to know. Now, for this, I want to react to this video. Villains the MCU is to schedule it out correctly. Now, as you know, Secret Wars is coming out next year, so we're probably going to be seeing Doctor Doom and all those guys. As I said before, I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, so I gotta catch up before that comes out and everything. So without further ado, let's react to this. Also, put down in the comments some villains or heroes you want to see in the MCU.
Marvel has adapted some of their most iconic villains in the MCU, villains like Thanos, Loki, and Ultron over the years for the big screen. And the MCU are currently adapting even more iconic villains, with adapting characters like a new Doctor Doom and the Sentry for the big screen, with both of these villains being absolute powerhouses and some of Marvel's most deadliest villains they have ever created in comic book history. And even though Marvel is tipping their toes into some of Marvel's most evil and powerful villains like the Void and Doctor Doom, there are still a few villains that currently exist in the MCU who Marvel is still afraid to adapt correctly because of just how horrifying they can be, and make what Thanos did in Infinity War look like child's play in comparison to some of these iconic Marvel villains. And I want to talk about 3 villains in particular that currently exist in this current version of the MCU that Marvel was too afraid to adapt correctly because of how powerful they are, and they could literally change the whole entire Marvel universe because of how strong they are. And I believe if they ever adapted these stories into movie form, they would be some of the best Marvel movies they ever created, because that's how powerful they are in their stories, and that's how great these stories are. And the first villain I want to talk about, who is one of the greatest to ever do it and is one of the greatest of all time, and that villain is the one and only Doctor Doom. Now, even though we're getting a version of Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday, it's most likely not going to be the Latveria King we all know and love as Doctor Doom. The original Doctor Doom in the comics and in the animated TV shows is completely unmatched compared to every other version of Doctor Doom. In fact, most of the time the main Doctor Doom has to fight his variants, he always ends up beating all the other multiverse versions of himself because he is that guy. And Doctor Doom is literally the epitome of the villain with all his stats maxed out. He is the level 99 mafia boss fighting level 10 superheroes. He has a genius level intellect that matches characters like Mr. Fantastic and Iron Man. He is one of the best sorcerers who can go toe to toe with Doctor Strange, and the reason he is not the Sorcerer Supreme is just because he's evil. Doctor Doom also has some of the best tech in the Marvel universe and is also a literal king of a country named Latveria. Doctor Doom literally has everything going for him, and he still chooses to be a villain. The mainline Doctor Doom is not only an Avengers level threat, but he is a multiversal level threat. There has been stories where he has ripped out Thanos' spine and aura farmed while doing it, defeated some of the strongest Marvel heroes to ever exist, held his own against literal Celestials, the ones who create planets, and even take down Galactus, a literal planet eater. And he does.
Come on, bro. The comics lore go crazy with Doctor Doom, bro. That's insane. How are you powerful enough to take down Galactus, though? That's actually insane. In no way he actually said F out of here, bro. That's crazy.
Ones who create planets and even take down Galactus, a literal planet eater, and he does this on a regular day. So when you look at Doctor Doom's villain resume, he is literally the LeBron James of villains. He has done everything when it comes to being a villain, and he has been doing it for decades upon decades. Not to mention, Doctor Doom is also a D1 hater, which just adds to how much of a villain he is. He is a D1 hater for the Fantastic Four, mainly against Reed Richards, because he always wants to prove that he is better than Reed Richards when it comes to his intellect. Doctor Doom hates Reed Richards so much, Doctor Doom is a literal king of a country and will use billions of of tax dollars to spend on creating elaborate plans to ruin Mr. Fantastic's life just for the
Hmm.
love of the game. That's like equivalent to a president just deciding to ruin a random police officer's job for the rest of his life. But even though Doctor Doom is super strong and can do literally anything because he's rich, he has magic, he has every single power ever created, there is still a Doctor Doom that dog walks every other Marvel villain, and is a Doctor Doom that is even stronger than the base Doctor Doom, and that version is
Secret
God
Wars.
Doom. Now this
Yeah.
Doctor Doom wears a white outfit and aura farms this whole entire story. It doesn't matter how he got these powers because he was still aura farmed. Like how I mentioned before, he just casually pulls up to Thanos after he gets these powers and
Cyclops.
flexes
What?
how much stronger he is than him by ripping out his spine in an instant. And that's because Thanos was barking like a dog behind a fence, all bark no bite type vibe, saying things like, "I don't need an Infinity Gauntlet to defeat you, Doctor Doom. I am the Mad Titan. That will be enough to defeat you." Only for Doom to pack him up and drop this god line.
That appears
Untrue.
untrue.
Which I wish that we got this Doctor Doom adapted into the MCU instead of the RDJ Doom that we're going to get in the future. That might be like an infamous Iron Man type of Doctor Doom. But even though that sounds like an interesting concept, and I think that giving us the original Doctor Doom is something you can't beat. Because his story is so amazing. It's a tragedy because he's always trying to save the people of his country. And he has a pretty good backstory with his mom literally getting sent to hell. And his whole entire
What?
life trying to save her from the hands of Mephisto. That is why the
Seriously?
original Doctor Doom
Wow.
will never be beat. Because one, he's super powerful and has such cool moments, and he also has such an amazing
For all my comics fans, bro, what are this man's powers, bro? I think he has like psychic powers or some shit. I think. Let me see. Hold on, bro. Genius level intellect, mastery of science, magic, and technologically advanced armor. Okay. So no psychic powers, bro? Let me see. Power absorption? What? What? Time travel? Bro. Electricity manipulation? Here we go, let me see. Excuse me. He has a force field generator. The suit could also produce blasts of concussive force through his gauntlets and allow the Doctor the power of flight through a miniaturized propulsion system. Okay. Wow. Alright. I thought this dude had like psychic powers too. I might be tripping. Alright, let's get back to the video real quick.
backstory. And the original Doctor Doom stands as one of Marvel's most iconic supervillains of all time. Reason why they're afraid to adapt this character is just because of how
He's way
insanely
too
powerful
OP,
he
bro.
is and how complicated his backstory is. But another villain that Marvel currently has in the
So,
MCU.
bro, how did the Fantastic Four beat him, bro? Like, in the original movies, like back in the early 2000s, bro. How does someone that stacked get cooked by 4 people? Like, alone. Like, he could easily... Doom could easily stole the Avengers, so, like... It makes sense how he was, like, never properly defeated. But, like, bruh. 4 dudes, though, even if one of them can light himself on fire... And one of them's like one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe. Like, how do you lose to that though? That's what I want to know.
wasted their potential in the movies is my favorite Marvel villain of all time and the Avengers' best villain, Ultron. Ultron is the definition of undefeatable. If Doctor Doom is overwhelming you with sheer power, Ultron is a villain who never even gives you a chance to see him at his full power. Ultron in animated shows, movies, and in comics portray Ultron as this undefeatable monster because once he is created, you might as well pack your bags because this is Ultron's world now. You're just
Facts.
living in it.
Facts.
Because Ultron takes out the Avengers with just his drones. Most of the time, the main Ultron Ultron doesn't even really deal with easy tasks like defeating the Avengers. He's too busy analyzing the world to deal with such simple matters like taking down Earth's mightiest heroes. And in most Ultron stories, he's not only taking out the Avengers, he's taking out every single superhero group like the X-Men. In most Age of Ultron stories, all of the superheroes are literally just trying to survive Ultron drones. Like there's even a page of Captain America, the symbol of hope and freedom, balled up in a corner, beaten up by the Ultron drones, and has completely given up since he knows fighting Ultron is a lost cause. And that type of Ultron is my Ultron. That is the version of Ultron that I grew up with. He showed up in the animated shows and when he showed up in the new Avengers movie. And in the new Avengers movies, he was moving on demon timing. Like no one was surviving that if you ever came across Ultron. And that's because they didn't really defeat him. They just threw him into space before he can regenerate. Which I honestly think the MCU Ultron was afraid to use this version of threw him into space before he can regenerate. Which I honestly think the MCU Ultron was afraid to use this version of Ultron since of how unstoppable he is. And there's no type of plot armor that can save you from Ultron. But instead we got the MCU version. Because the MCU version of Ultron was getting beaten up by just the Avengers. Like, how is that even possible? Ultron is such a next level villain. Ultron is not an Avengers level threat, he is a multiversal level threat. Like in the Age of Ultron story, it took all of the X-Men, the Avengers, every remaining hero to go back in time to the moment Ultron was even created to stop Ultron from starting the Age of Ultron. You know how scary that is? A villain where superheroes don't even consider the possibility of winning a fight against him. They would rather solve time travel, a literal thing that's almost impossible, to deal with Ultron than rather fight him on a fair 1v1. Which I wish we got this version of Age of Ultron who actually takes over the world, not just for a couple of days, but for multiple years. Not to mention, I wish they did keep the original comic and animated version design of Ultron because it just looks so cool, where he just has this menacing smile and is just oozing with power. Like, this version of Ultron is just so cool looking, while the one we got in the MCU just looks like a Voldemort. And I know some people like this MCU version of while the one we got in the MCU just looks like a Voldemort. And I know some people like this MCU
what now, bro? What's he saying?
Looking, while the one we got in the MCU just looks like a Voldemort. And I know some people like this MCU version of Ultron's look, but I am definitely not one of them. But the reason why they went with this design in the MCU is because I think they wanted to give Ultron more of a personality at the time instead of the usual cold and calculated version of Ultron he usually is, because after all he is still just an AI robot. But there are different ways to give Ultron a personality, like the time Hank Pym, the original creator of Ultron, fuses with Ultron to create Pymtron, where this version of Ultron has the ego of Hank Pym, which he has one of the biggest egos of all time, and also has the brilliance and smarts of Hank Pym Ant-Man, but he also has the nihilistic point of view of Ultron, which is a way better to give an Ultron a personality by having Ultron diffuse to his actual creator, which even though I'm not a big fan of this story, I do think that this design looks amazing. But maybe we will get Ultron to come back in the future in the MCU, since Ultron really never dies and he is after all an AI that can come back to life. And plus we did see Ultron's head in Spider-Man Homecoming, but they still have never mentioned why they have an Ultron head. Maybe it's just, you know, a plot device for him to eventually come back in the future. But even though I've been hating on the MCU version of Ultron, at least they gave us such a goated version of Ultron with Infinity Ultron, which is one of my favorite Ultron designs of all time and is such a great story till we get to the finale of season 1 and to, you know, season 3 of What If, or should I say the Captain Carter show. But the final villain that makes both of these villains look like children when it comes to the powerhouse of Doom and the fear factor of Ultron is the one and only Devil Hulk. Now, to call any version of Hulk a good guy is already a stretch. Hulk is more of a natural disaster being controlled to do good. But when Hulk finally has no one to limit him, we get this version of Devil Hulk, otherwise known as the Immortal Hulk, who has access to one of the strongest power systems of all time, the Green Door. Now, this version of Hulk literally calls himself the end of humanity and the devil incarnate. If you think this Hulk is here to help, you are wrong. You might as well leave and fear for your life. This version of Hulk will literally swallow you whole with his own body. He will rip out your spine, and you better wish you never come across this Hulk, because everyone knows in this universe, if Hulk is ever near you, you better keep quiet, keep still, and don't look him in the eyes. This version of Hulk makes the MCU version of Hulk look like Cocomelon of Hulks. The Immortal Hulk is horror incarnate. He even packs up the Avengers, who are assembled of Captain Marvel, Thor, Ghost Rider, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and She-Hulk. This is a literal super team of superheroes. This is probably the strongest Avengers team you could ever assemble, and Hulk makes them all look like
Captain
jokes. When
Marvel,
Thor tries to
bro?
fight him, you know, a literal god, Hulk just punches him once, and Thor starts begging for Odin's help, and Hulk says his daddy can't help him now. And after Thor gets packed up, he even says this version of Hulk has entered the realm of gods, saying that Earth has created a god or even a devil with this version of Hulk. Like, this Hulk is honestly so goated. The MC Hulk is kind of just a joke at this point. So many people have talked about, you know, how they ruined this version of Hulk, and it doesn't help that they can't even give Hulk movies at this point, with this version of MCU getting packed up by characters like Thanos. So Thanos is pretty strong. Hulk would never back down from a fade, because this version of Hulk literally doesn't show up ever again because of how afraid he is of Thanos. My Hulk would never run for a fade. He'd rather die than cower in fear. Like, my glorious king would take down this version of Thanos easily, and every MCU villain in seconds. Not to mention, this Hulk is empowered by the powers of the One Below All. The first time Immortal Hulk meets a One Below All, or at least sees him for the first time, he is out here dropping lines that send shivers down your spine. Now, to give you some context to the One Below All, he is the most evil thing in the Marvel Universe. If the One Above All is a literal god in the Marvel Universe, the One Below All is the inverse of that. So you can only assume how evil the One Below All is. And when Hulk and the rest of the people see the One Below All for the first time, they are completely shocked, saying the One Below All is the end of the world. And Hulk horrifies by saying that is not the end of the world. And a random civilian responds to Hulk like, how do you know he's not the end of the world? And the mortal Hulk simply says, because that's who I am. Peak cinema, which is such a cold comic panel showing that this Hulk is not here to help us and is not here to do the right thing. He is just here to cause pure destruction in the world, and if he just so happens to save a person while doing it, that's just a cherry on top for the mortal Hulk. I just wish that we got this version of Hulk, because the MCU version of Hulk is currently in the gutter right now, and we haven't gotten a good Hulk moment in literal years. The last cool moment we had with Hulk was like in Avengers 1, and at least like Red Hulk in Captain America Brave New World actually was menaced, ripping down buildings, stepping across the city, and the only way they were able to defeat Red Hulk was by talking him out of it. They had to talk no jutsu him to defeat this version of Red Hulk. And I truly wish we see a Hulk in the MCU that gets justice for his actual characterization and how actually horrifying Hulk can be in certain stories. But that's just a couple Marvel villains that I would love to see adapted into the big screen because of how much of an impact they can have in the MCU. If any of these three characters were to ever get a movie, at least get a movie done correctly about them, because obviously Doctor Doom and Ultron have gotten a movie, but those are not the best characterization of how they are in the comics or in animated stuff. But let me know down in the comments, out of these three villains, which one would you love to see in a movie? Which one you believe is the most dangerous out of these three, because all of these characters are some of the strongest characters in all of the fiction. And also make sure to like and subscribe. 99% of the people who watch me aren't subscribed, so don't be that 99%, be that 1%. Hope to see you guys next time. Later, hater. Peace.
Dang, alright. So, to be honest, I'm surprised he didn't talk about King the Conqueror, because, like, they didn't really do him justice in the movie, obviously. Of course, they had, like, the Kang Dynasty movie all set up, and then Jonathan Majors wilded out. So, yeah. That was it. To be honest, if any of these guys were adapted just based off how OP and crazy they are, like, just because of the comics, do you think that would make good movie material? Because, like, obviously, some things you might have to, like, tone down. Because, like, you have this, like, one all-powerful dude in the movie that literally no one can defeat. That everyone's at the end of their rope. Like, it might be good to see. Like, it might give people suspense and stuff like that. But I'm not really sure. So, yeah. Let me see something. Alright, so that's about all I had planned. So, as I said before, I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, but I am planning on seeing it soon. I saw Superman, I think it was like last month. No, it was this month, right. I will be working on, I'll put out a movie review on that later on. I'm working on 2 new videos right now. I'll probably get one of them out today or tomorrow probably. So be on the lookout for that. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and spread the word about the channel to everyone that you know. Now I'll see you guys next time. Peace.